Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. And if you're like me, a confusion of face, you'll get comments all the time. Like, I'll just show a little bit of it. Of course, this thing's acting up to where you can't see what the original comment was, but got a comment on one of my videos, aren't you white? And so, what's the best way to respond to something like this? Well, here we go. Because, this is always going to come up, especially if you're Confusion of Face Israelite. And I responded, this is spiritual. I am a Confusion of Face Judah Israelite. My fathers go back to being the Brits, who were Moors, who were Judah Israelites. We mated with women of other nations, including Edom. So I have the appearance of being white, but am Judah Israelite. That's all you got to say, because people are going to get on the comment boards and they're going to do everything because you got so many of these, wannabe Israelite groups that are just black only. This is a black thing. And they are trying to discredit that Latinos and Native Americans are also Israelites, because they're not black, And this is just because, that's the narrative that Esau wants to push, that they're, that we're the black Hebrew Israelites, but people like me and others that come out there know that this ain't a black and white thing. So, you'll always get comments, but that's one of the things I found to respond to it. Now let's just get into end-time events that's going on. Well, we know that Libya and Yemen are also areas that are in the Ezekiel prophecy. Even though Yemen's not named, it's still a proxy of Persia, thus that, Iran has like 3 proxy areas that, they even had their influence in Iraq. They had a Shiite leader there, but in the United States, when they created ISIS, not only to go after Bashar al-Assad, they took out the Shiite leader of Iraq, and so that's why ISIS took over half of Iraq, was to get him to step down. And that did happen, so, it's really about fighting the proxies of Persia. So we're just going to get into it. I got some footage from both Yemen and from Libya. I used to be of in Revelation times before I came into this truth. And so, I try to keep that afloat. I used to have a channel called In Revelation Times where I'd do long ones, but now I'm just going to keep it at the limit of 15 minutes or less, to be more edifying. We know them today as sit-downs, so that's what this is. This is sit down to the best of my abilities because I cannot go live because of bullshit YouTube and their fucking community guidelines, which is a bunch of bullshit, but as well as I do, they're trying to shut down this truth. Because Esau can't handle the truth because the truth fucking hurts. So this is Libya liberating their country from the terrorist groups that the United States has sent in there. The same terrorist groups are in Syria now. So anyhow, Libya is close to liberating their territories from these terrorist groups, which the United States still supports. But like everything else, Russia has been a shield unto them. So, they're now starting to fight to get their country back. While that's going on, we also have more going on in Yemen, which you don't hear much about. But, if you subscribe to the RNU videos, you can get them. But they don't stay on very long, so let's take a look.
The Saudi-UAE-led coalition and its proxies are facing hard times in the battle for Al Hudaydah in western Yemen. So far, they have not been able to exploit their advantage in firepower, military equipment and manpower, and have not captured even the Al Hudaydah airport. At the same time, airstrikes of the coalition air power have been slowly destroying infrastructure of the port city itself, but without a ground advance, this can hardly help the coalition to retake it from the Ansar Allah movement, also known as the Houthis. In turn, the Houthis have cut off a supply line of the coalition assault forces involved in the Al Hudaydah operation in the area of Nakila, Al-Jah, Mashiki, Majiles and Al-Faza. The Houthis have enough manpower to control these areas for a long time, but their mobile groups destroyed equipment and convoys heading along the western Yemeni coast on almost a daily basis. According to Yemeni sources, the Houthis have deployed reinforcements, including a number of sniper units, in the area of Al Hudaydah and along the western coast. The coalition responded with a similar move, sending more military equipment, including battle tanks and fighters, to participate in the battle. It is unlikely that the sides can reach any kind of long-term ceasefire in Al Hudaydah, so the coalition is preparing for another attempt to deliver a decisive blow to the defenders of the city. The strategy of the Houthis is to exploit overstretched supply lines of their opponents and to carry out cross-border attacks on Saudi targets, drawing attention of the coalition from Al Hudaydah. On June 24th, the Houthis launched Burkan-2H ballistic missiles at the information center of the Defense Ministry of Saudi Arabia and other military positions in the Saudi capital of Riyadh. Pro-Saudi sources claimed that the attack was repelled, releasing a video of at least one interception.
So, anyhow, that's what's going on there, Shalom. And so now we'll take a look at some other things. Well, since we know that Chris Green barely gets on these things anymore, that Chad Buchsam is pretty much the main guy on AMTV. Well, they were broadcasting most recently that another major false flag is to occur to begin the war in the United States, probably similar to the Ferguson riots and that kind of shit, but let's just go ahead and listen to this report, shall we?
Hey everybody, I'm Chad Buchsam. Welcome to Alternative Media Television. This is AMTV Live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We're going to have a great discussion, an unfortunate discussion actually from what's going on in America, and who is inciting this potential violence that is going to rage across this country, okay, due to the political environment. It's not even a political environment anymore, okay? The gloves are off across the board, and this is what we're dealing with. We have a mainstream media. They know what they're doing. Okay, they know exactly what they're doing. They know who they're talking to. It wasn't too long ago where we had a crazy Bernie Sanders supporter, okay, go and try to assassinate a bunch of Republicans, where Steve Scalise was critically injured and sent to the hospital. And you have a mainstream media now who decides to do this. They ignored everything. They didn't do their job whatsoever under Obama. They didn't highlight the same things that were occurring under Obama that's occurring under Trump now, as far as what? He prosecuted over 500,000 illegal immigrants, which led to the separation of families. And the media didn't do their job. Now, because they have such hatred for Donald Trump and for conservatives in general.
Yeah, let's feel bad for Donald Trump, shall we? This is bullshit, but this is what they do,
Now, there was a video, one of these grassroots journalists, I believe by the name of Laura Loomer. I want to pull up this video if you guys could pull it up. It's on the top of Drudge Report. And I just want you guys to take a look at this here before I go any further. Yes, that top link right there. Yeah, let's cue this video. This is basically a grassroots journalist, Laura Loomer. She's confronting Maxine Waters, and we've seen what she's been doing lately, and I'm going to discuss it right after they air it.
But you can get millions of dollars if you invest in Bitcoin, right? You know, that's what they're trying to do.
Hi, Congresswoman Waters. Hi, my name's Laura Loomer. I'm an investigative journalist. You just recently made some comments in which you encouraged your supporters.
Who are you, darling?
My name is Laura Loomer. I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm also a conservative journalist.
Come to my office. I'll be happy to sit down with you.
No,
we can't
I
talk
would like
on
to
the
ask you questions. Please don't push my camera out of my hand. You just encouraged your supporters. You just encouraged your supporters to harass Trump supporters and officials.
Please come to my office.
I just wanted to ask you, where are conservatives allowed to go?
Please come
Are there
to my
separate?
office and talk with me.
Do we sit at the back of the bus?
Oh boy, what a bunch of garbage. So basically, it looks like this video here was just to rally Trump for support for Trump. And, well, yes, it's true that Obama was doing this shit, but let's face it, though. Obama is not a so-called black man, but is in fact a Hamite, which has nothing to do with our people, you know. But that being said, though, you know, you've seen what's happening, though, is the main people of alternative media, a.k.a. AMTV, Alex Jones, and all that, is just trying to say that Donald Trump was never a part of it, but now he's just being compromised. Is the only excuse as to why Donald Trump is attacking Syria and other places. Because, oh, well, he's just being compromised. No, man, he was always a part of the deep state. He's been on the nutsack of the Rothschilds for a long time. So, anyhow, you know, caught in their own lies. Yeah, you know, fuck news is going to say that, oh, well, these people are crisis actors. Oh, but the white helmets aren't. Right. Meanwhile, Bashar al-Assad and Vladimir Putin are liberating the southern areas of Syria, and America can't handle this. They've even asked, most recently, for them to stop their operations. So let's see what's going on here.
On June 23rd, militants in 11 settlements in southern Syria surrendered to the Syrian Arab Army SAA and declared their readiness to fight ISIS and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, formerly Jabhat al-Nusra, the Russian Defense Ministry said in a statement on June 24th. According to pro-government sources, about 900 members of the Free Syrian Army FSA joined the SAA. On June 24th, the SAA and the Tiger Forces liberated the villages of Khafsh Hamad and Jadal and entered the village of Busra al-Harir, northeast of the city of Dara. According to pro-militant sources, this advance was supported by the Russian airspace forces. On June 25th, clashes in the area continued. It is interesting to note that on June 23rd, the U.S. Embassy in Amman released a statement saying that the militants in southern Syria should not count on a U.S. military intervention in a situation in the area when they make decisions influencing their future. The statement comes amid reports that some FSA groups in the province of Dara have resumed negotiations with the Syrian government and Russia on a reconciliation agreement that would allow Damascus to restore its control of the area by a peaceful solution. On June 24th, the SAA repelled an attack of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham near the village of Zlin in northern Hama. However, after the attack, the situation in the area remained relatively calm. Tensions between the Thawar al-Raqqa Brigade and the rest of the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces SDF have erupted in the city of Raqqa. The Thawar al-Raqqa Brigade says that the SDF security forces, Asaish, have surrendered its headquarters and have attacked some of its members.
And we'll just continue this in our next video. I'll get a scripture if I can. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 14. Thou saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, and thou didst rejoice in the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was